Okay, welcome to the last chapter in our training video for the Virtual Decorator Master Upgrade. The last chapter of this video, in my opinion, is the most important chapter of the whole training process. I am so often amazed by the number of people that get to this chapter and that have been struggling a little bit maybe with the concept of how the software is going to work, and they see this chapter and the light bulb goes off and they go, okay, I get how this works. The challenge for us in training the software is it's impossible for me to make this the first chapter because you need to go through the process of understanding how the rudimentary tools work before you can fully understand what I'm about to demonstrate. Now, what I'm going to do is basically just go to a default world. You can get there by simply going File, New. This is our startup world. I'm going to click on our foundation floor base and get rid of it. I don't want it to be there, but it doesn't matter if you leave it there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the process of very quickly reviewing the tools that we've built and then show you how incredibly powerful they are once you get that there is no right or wrong way to build anything in the Virtual Decorator. It's a visualization tool, not an engineering tool. Because it's a visualization tool, it means the best way to build things is the fastest, simplest, easiest way to build things, not the right way to build things. So what I mean by that, let's build a really simple, perhaps what we call the world's most unattractive home. Basically, we'll go to our drawing tools. So our drop-down menu to drawing tools, go to Polygon Foundation Tools, and what I'll do is I'll trace out an L shape on the ground here. Now this is exactly the same as tracing out, taking a set of plans, scanning them in, scaling them, and tracing over the top of them. I've basically traced over top of my imaginary plans here, freehand, and created an L shape on the ground. Let's do that process very quickly again. Choose my Polygon Foundation tool, trace out some sort of rudimentary shape on the ground here. So here's basically a shape on the ground. Let's delete this one. Go back to this foundation, and it is a foundation. Click on the wall building tool then and nominate the height and depth of the walls. If I left them at 2400 by 200, it would produce a rudimentary set of perimeter walls. I then go to my building tools, and this is my internal wall building structure. I can basically build any internal structures that I want from there. I can place separate floors in each room of the house, and I can place basically doors and windows into those rooms appropriate to where they should be. Then what I'm going to do is click on the build roof base tool. I'll leave the roof base height at 2400, which is the height of the walls, 300 millimeter overhang, 100 millimeter base. And then if I wanted to, I could actually use my auto build roof to create a hip roof on this house. But I'm going to basically leave it as it stands here with a flat roof. And the reason I'm going to leave it at this point is just up to that point in the software, you've learned almost everything that you could possibly ever need to know to build almost anything in our software. And here's what I mean by that. If I wanted to build a driveway that extended away from this house, I would simply go to my drawing tool and draw a driveway using my shift button down here, using the foundation tool. Now, because it's a driveway, I'm not going to actually have any walls, nor am I going to have any roof structure, but I'm just going to use the foundation tool. If I wanted to build a tennis court, what I'll do is I'll go to my foundation tool, I'll drag out the size of the tennis court and lift the walls, but this time the walls need to be the appropriate height and the appropriate depth for a tennis court. Let's just make these 3 meters high and 10 millimeters deep. So using exactly the same tool as I used to build my house, I've now built my driveway and my tennis court. Now they don't look much like a tennis court nor a driveway yet because, quite bluntly, I haven't applied my materials of construction. But I'm going to, and they're going to come alive. So what I'm going to do is now build a swimming pool. I drag out the foundation for my swimming pool. And this time what I'm going to do is use my walls and create wall just 200 millimeters deep and 200 millimeters high. And you can see I've created what appears to be the beginning, the foundation stone for a nice swimming pool. Perhaps if I put some blue color in there, it'll be a little bit more obvious. So I'm using exactly the same tools to create these different structures. I'm creating a foundation. I'm putting walls into place, however high, however deep they need to be. and I'm choosing, does this foundation have walls? Does this foundation have a roof? And through the process of asking these questions and giving the software these commands, I'm pretty much able to build anything I want. For example, a kitchen bench. What I do is I draw an appropriate size space down here. You can see we're not drawing house-sized foundations now. We're building the kickbox on a kitchen bench. And when I go to my walls, I can choose walls that are the appropriate size for kitchen cabinetry. So let's say 800 millimeters high, 200 millimeters deep. And you can see here's the carcass for my kitchen bench. So if I click on the base, the roof base this time goes on at 800 millimeters with just a 5 millimeter overhang and a 25 millimeter depth. So I've created a kitchen bench. And it's through this process of creating a foundation, putting walls into place, and then putting a roof onto a structure that you can build anything from a kitchen bench to a 5-story commercial high-rise building. So that's, in my opinion, the great key to learning the Virtual Decorator software, understanding that all structures are built using a foundation, walls, and a roof structure, and then what you've effectively created is a template ready to be colored in, ready to have objects and materials placed into that template, just as you would using the basic version of the Virtual Decorator software. So thank you for taking the time to review this training material on the Virtual Decorator Master Upgrade. My last comments would be just to remind you that learning a piece of software like the Virtual Decorator Master Upgrade is not something that's going to happen in just a few minutes or even just a few hours. At the point of purchase, you would have been demonstrated 2 versions of the software. The first version of the software is our template-driven system. Our template-driven system is incredibly easy to use. You simply choose a template from a library of pre-built templates and then choose colors and materials to suit your home design ideas. It takes 10 minutes to learn to use, and it's super easy. The Master Upgrade, however, is a professional grade tool. It will take several days for someone consistently working on the software to unlock the secrets. Technically, the software is not difficult to use. The challenge is the abstract nature of the tool, where there's simply no right or wrong way to do anything, that the tool allows you to create a 3-dimensional model of all sorts of different building projects, from commercial to residential and to industrial, based on a series of different approaches. And the best way to learn the software is to simply get in there and have a play around and understand it's almost impossible to break something on a piece of software like the Virtual Decorator. So get in, enjoy, have some fun. If you've got any questions about basic skills review, navigation, that is, how do we move around, how do we change colors, how do we insert objects in the scene, please be assured that you review the basic training material that's also provided on your installation disc. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoy the Virtual Decorator software experience.